Welcome back to another edition of the Coach's Corner. I'm here with UNF men's basketball coach, Matthew Driscoll. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing well, thank you. Got back from a trip a little bit longer than we wanted. We left early because of the game time change. So we left on Thursday instead of Friday morning. So it ended up being a little longer trip than we wanted. But all in all, at the end of the day, it's going to be a great experience for us, and we're going to grow.
And let's talk a little bit about that experience. We went to South Bend to play Notre Dame. And the game, it didn't go quite as you had hoped. I think the score was 86-65, but in the second half we really improved. Could you talk a little bit about the first half and then go into how we were overcome some things and really improve on the second half?
Yeah, the first half, one of the things we had to do is we had to eliminate threes and know that we had to run them off the three-point line. We just didn't expect Jackson and Peebles to make such deep threes even when we were there trying to contest them. And as a player, once you start making one or two of those things, they all start to roll, it seems like. And next thing you know, they're making a three from everywhere, even when we changed around and went zone. And we were one step away, just watching film and seeing what we were doing. We were one step away or just one movement away from being in the right place at the right time. So, again, how do you take this and use this as a learning so that for the next game and the next game down the road, because these first three games are preparing us for really what's reality, which is the Atlantic Sun, and we open up at Campbell. So we have to grow from this and learn from this, but we can't let this thing hover above us like a black cloud and cause us to be, hampered down, so to speak. We have to move forward.
Right. And then one of the things that really sticks out, when people look at stats, obviously on the offensive side of the ball, not getting second chances. I think looking at the stats, they were really out rebounding on the offensive side, but also on the defensive side, we were rebounding. How do you improve on offense, getting more second chances on the offensive side of the ball?
Twofold. Number one is effort. Guys have to go at the right time. The other part is where you're going. If you're trying to rebound the ball on the strong side, you're not going to get very many. You got to rebound the ball to the right position. They have the statistic out that 95% of rebounding is done by positioning, not by how high you can jump. And if you think about it, there's a lot of truth to that. You just got to be in the right place to be at the right time to make sure, and you got to be able to read those kind of things. And that's something else our guys are growing into. But that was a disappointment that we didn't rebound the ball better, especially on the offensive end, just to be aggressive.
Okay, and then because the second half we played a lot better. Could you talk about some of the things that maybe happened? Maybe we settled in, or when your coaching changes that you made at halftime. What really happened with the guys to get them to play a little bit better in the second half?
It really wasn't a lot of coaching change. It wasn't like a lot of tactical situations that we said, hey, let's do this different. We just said, let's do what we were supposed to do when we said we were going to do it from the beginning. Let's play ball screens this way. Let's play post feed. I don't know if we had deers in the eyes and all that kind of stuff, but I definitely don't want to say that was the reason. Notre Dame was better than us, made shots, and we didn't do a very good job doing the little things that we needed to do. In the second half, we did them. And then we shared the sugar. Then we threw the ball we were supposed to. Next thing you know, we're getting open shots. And like anything else, when you start making shots, it makes everything else better. Now defensively, we're getting a stop. We're doing this. We're doing that. And then things all kind of came together. So the good news is the last 20 was something positive to build on. But overall, we just got to make sure that we got to do that from the beginning. Ave Maria came out and punched us in the mouth. Notre Dame came out and punched us in the mouth. So we have to look at that a little bit more closely. We got to come out and we got to punch people in the mouth. We got to come out with a better set of aggression, and we got to take advantage of it early and set a tone as opposed to letting everybody else set the tone.
Okay, and then up next, of course, is Savannah State, and you talk about you want to come out and be aggressive, and you want to set the tone. How do you set the tone against Savannah State?
Well, they beat us last year up at their place, and they're a team that likes to press a lot, likes to go up and down the floor, likes to create a lot of turnovers, likes to create a lot of possessions. So the one thing we got to do is you can't press unless you score. That's one of the biggest things we got to know from the get-go. So we got to do a better job making sure they don't get easies, making sure they have everything contested, and making sure that they're one and done. It's sort of like what you talked about before, offensive rebounding. Once we take care of that, they can't press. When they do press, we got to make sure that we're getting shots that we want. A pressing team wants to speed you up and just have you get shots to get shots. We want to make sure we're taking shots that we want to take on our terms at the right time with the right guy. As that theory goes into play and as we perform, then everything else will take care of itself down the road as far as how the game will progress. But from the get-go, that's what we've got to do. We've got to handle their blows, so to speak, and we've got to deal them some blows of our own. Okay,
and I'll get you out on this one because the team, you guys are still figuring each other out. How is that going with your philosophies being different from what they're accustomed to. How are they adapting to the changes that you're making?
It's funny you say it that way, because we were just talking this morning. I don't know if this team has taken on the personality of the head coach yet. I just don't know if they're there yet. Most teams do, and most teams do take on the personality of their head coach. I don't know if they've got to that level yet, because I don't know if part of it's because they're thinking so much, because everybody's so new at what we're trying to do as opposed to just playing. If they don't feel comfortable yet knowing who can do what or who should do what, or the freshmen getting acclimated with the guys that are returning. So that's the one thing we have to keep on working with, and we have to keep on talking about, because if we don't talk about it, then it's going to just go under the carpet, and then nobody's going to say a word. Then all of a sudden we're going to say, man, I wish we would have talked. So we have to talk about this, and we have to get this out so that the guys can grow, because the sooner we grow and it all becomes to mesh together, then the picture will look much clearer for them. Right now, I think it's still a little bit cloudy exactly what everyone is supposed to do. So we have to clear that up a little bit.
Well, I can speak for everybody here at UNF in saying that when the team starts to take on your personality, it's going to be a very exciting season, and we're going to have more exciting seasons to come. This is Coach Matthew Driscoll of the UNF men's basketball team. Thanks again, Coach, for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. We appreciate your support.
Thank you.